If Demon Slayer was longer, I think it could have been on the same level as Dragon Ball and Naruto, if not surpassed it. As much as y'all would hate to hear it, it probably would have happened. About it, I'm going to quickly talk about this take since Demon Slayer came out. I think it's time we accepted that Demon Slayer is more popular than Dragon Ball. Do I believe this? I think it definitely had the potential. I know people like, look at there's 146 replies, 79 retweets. I know niggas was bothered. I might piss some of y'all off in here. All the Dragon Ball fans here, I'm sorry. Demon Slayer could have. Demon Slayer, I'm gonna reply to this guy too. Demon Slayer 100% could have. It 100% could have. The reason why I think it could have is, dude, the movie numbers that it's been doing is insane. I don't know how well the game, how well did the game sell? Demon Slayer game sales. How much did that sell? 4 million. That's for an anime game, if I'm not wrong. That's incredible. Best-selling manga anime games. Yeah, Naruto 1, and then Dragon Ball, Persona. I'm not counting Persona. Dragon Ball. Yeah, Demon Slayer's 8th, bro. Demon Slayers. This is the only game Demon Slayer has in its 8th place. It is 8th place. One Piece doesn't even have anything in its stratosphere. One Piece is 12. I would definitely say worldwide, it's probably more popular than One Piece. I know One Piece fans won't hate to hear it, but it probably is true. I could say if Demon Slayer was longer, I think it could have been on the same level as Dragon Ball and Naruto, if not surpassed it. As much as y'all would hate to hear it, it probably would have happened. It most definitely would have happened. JJK or Demon Slayer in terms of popularity, I would say definitely Demon Slayer. Definitely Demon Slayer. JJK, I think if JJK drags out its anime, like people are saying that Gojo vs Sukuna is gonna get a movie. If that happens, I think that could like really propel it past Demon Slayer for sure. For sure. And I know people were hating too. I saw mad people on Twitter were actually mad at the prospect of like Demon Slayer making their arcs into movies, and they're saying that it's a bad omen for like the anime industry. I personally don't really think so. I think it's actually, I'm a movie lover, so I would love anime to be much more integrated into the film, like the cinema genre, instead of it just being like its own niche thing that you watch on TV or like on Crunchyroll or something. I would love for it to break through into like the cinema world, bro. I would like Demon Slayer and things like that. These need to be at like the Emmys, or is it Emmys or Grammys? I forget. Like you should be getting awards alongside like Across the Spider-Verse and things like that. The Oscars, yeah, my fault. I said two completely wrong things. Like these movies should be next to like animated movies like Spider-Verse, and what's other animated movies that be up on like getting those awards? I don't remember any off dome, but like these don't get considered much at all. The only time I've seen an anime get considered for those high profile awards, I remember for whatever the music awards show is. I know Attack on Titan season 4's OST was on there. Studio Ghibli be getting it, but that's it. That's only Studio Ghibli. Like these need to get considered too. And I think Demon Slayer will be the anime to like really break the niche, or like break the mold into that like quote unquote mainstream. I know a lot of anime fans are gatekeepers and they don't really want it to be. I like to see anime flourish. I'm not a gatekeeper nigga. Like I love seeing stuff break through. Arcane in an anime, but I know they got an Emmy. Yeah, that's different though. It's not an anime. That Arcane is like, what is Arcane Netflix made? Yeah, Arcane was made by Netflix, right? So Arcane is kind of already mainstream for the sole purpose that it's on Netflix. I feel like that's kind of a different story. I don't know. I feel like Arcane is definitely different, but I think the Demon Slayer movies are going to definitely break the mold. We'll see how good Chainsaw Man does. Chainsaw Man, I feel like, was not a good move because that should have been tied in with season 1. Chainsaw Man season 1 came out like 3 years ago. I ain't never hear that ever since. I haven't even seen it, bro. I haven't even heard people talk about that season ever since, and it's because they're waiting for the movie to come out. That should have been a whole season. That one was kind of bad timing. Like Demon Slayer, I feel like made sense. I don't know about Chainsaw Man, even though the Reset arc would fit well for a movie. I don't know how much I enjoy the choice for Chainsaw Man, especially since the season was already just 12 episodes. Like at least Demon Slayer had a 24 episode season that everybody loved. Chainsaw Man ended before it really started, and then they have a movie. Like, I feel like that's different. But like things like Gojo vs Sukuna, if this actually gets a movie, if this legitimately gets a movie, I think this will break records, bro. This right here, this will shatter cinemas, man. This is like Goku versus Frieza of like this generation. I feel like this is gonna go crazy. This is gonna go insane, bro. It's gonna go insane. Mappa's been handling CSM horribly. Shout out my man Munchie, but yes, they have, bro. I don't know why Chainsaw Man's in the back burner. Chainsaw Man should have be on season 2 already. They did the movie too early, in my opinion. But and like the movie's not coming out. When's the movie coming out? It's in like a month, right? Released in Japan the 19th, so in 3 days. What about the world though? 24th of 2025. We'll see how good this does. We'll see how good this movie does. This arc is so good. Like, I remember reading this in quarantine. This arc is incredible, but it'll do really well for a movie. But I just don't think it was well timed, personally. But Dragon Ball is carried by its influence at this point, which is why it won't be dethroned for a while, even though it still be highly regarded. I think Demon Slayer could have. This is like the main point I wanted to get to. If Demon Slayer was actually longer, like I think Demon Slayer ended way too short. That was like my main problem with it. I know so many people were complaining about like the ending and this, that, the third. My problem is that I feel like it ended way too early. Like Demon Slayer is only 180 chapters. If it feels like it like, can I speak? Goddamn. It feels like if Dragon Ball ended at King Piccolo. That's how I feel like Demon Slayer is. It's like you are at the cusp of some greatness. Shout out Jumanji. I feel like they really just capped their greatness for real. Like they could have been a whole different villain after Muzan, I feel like, and it would have went crazy. Cause like you did all those backstories for all the Hashira. We finally actually know all the characters. Like Inosuke gets a lot of stuff in the last arc. Every character gets something in the last arc. And the moment you actually care for everybody, the series is over. That's what I don't like. Like Demon Slayer, if this was made 20 years ago, that would have been like part 1, and then there would have been like a Demon Slayer Shippuden, and it would have went for like Tanjiro ages by like 5 years, and it would have went crazy with like 5 more villains, I think. Like, I'm not saying you have to drag it, but I feel like there definitely should have been more. I don't think less is more works in Demon Slayer sense. I feel like the story just started to get ramped up. Same with JJK too. Munchie just said that in the chat. JJK also ended too short, bro, but that's modern shonen. That is completely true, bro. All modern shonen, I don't think run for long. That's what kind of sucks about it. Like, I know like a lot of the old anime get a bad rep for like dragging it in some areas or like being too long. But like, I don't think, if you're reading the manga for a lot of them, I don't think any of the manga drag. I don't think any of the quote unquote super long anime drag for real. One Piece does at times, not the whole series. Naruto drags at times, not the whole series. Dragon Ball I don't think drags at all in the manga. Bleach I don't think drags at all in the manga. It's the anime that makes everybody hate how long these series are, bro. But if you actually read what the author was doing, it was long for a reason. The only time you could say Dragon Ball really dragged was like Buu Saga. You could say Buu Saga dragged it, I guess. But Buu Saga, everybody loves the Buu Saga still. Like Bleach, I don't think dragged it at all. Besides maybe the last arc where like the war arc was just a bunch of 1v1s. I remember that one, it started to drag a little bit. Naruto also, the last arc started to drag a little bit. One Piece, just some arcs just last a little longer than it should. But it's not like, I don't think it's like bad enough to the point where like all these modern shonen can't even pass like 200 chapters without ending. I feel like that's kind of overkill, in my opinion. Back in my day, the average shonen had over 300 episodes. Exactly, man. Exactly, man. And if you're bothered by the episode count, hey, there's something called the manga, man. You could just read it. It's way shorter anyway. But I don't know, man. But 300 episodes of Naruto could be a turnoff for newer audiences, even if it's good. Demon Slayer is pulling in a much older audience because of how short it is. That is true. Being that long could be a turnoff. It could be a turnoff. But I don't know. Because if it was a turnoff, then like these series still wouldn't be as popular as they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I do 100% see like if someone was to get into anime and like you saw, like if I was getting someone into anime and then like Dragon Ball was like 400 episodes, I said you gotta watch all of this. I know that's definitely a turnoff. But I don't think making something long is like a bad thing, unless you're just dragging it to make money and you're just doing it for like with no passion or no reason. That's the only time where I feel like if you gotta just let stuff end sometimes. Like Z should have ended at Z. We didn't need GT, we didn't need Super. Like GT, they was just dragging it. They were trying to make as much money as they can. GT was not needed. Super was also not needed. But when I talk about Dragon Ball, I don't really count those two. I count about the original made by Toriyama. But I don't think being scared to attract new audiences by how long the episode count is should turn you away from making a long story. No one complained about how long Game of Thrones was when it was going on. I don't know why I can't talk. I'm sorry. No one was complaining about how long Game of Thrones was when it was going on. I know Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if there's any white women in the chat. I know Grey's Anatomy was going crazy. I don't think anyone watching Grey's Anatomy was complaining about how long it was till it was over. Like, people only really care about how long something is when it ends. But like, I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it should deter people from making it too long. It's not over. Grey's Anatomy is not over. Say you swear. Say you swear. New season comes out this year? Yo, I thought when I was making my video, if y'all remember that video, that classic, I thought it was done. Nigga, say you swear. Shout out my man Jose in the chat. My man J Mars X. Shout out my GOAT. There's no way. I thought the show was done, bro. Oh, nah. I think Demon Slayer definitely could have surpassed Dragon Ball if it was longer, just not long enough. I think the two movies could probably propel it to near its level. But I think once those movies are done, unless they make a spin-off sequel or something, I don't think it'll surpass it. I don't think so. JJK, I think, still can. Because JJK has at least 2 seasons left. And if they make Gojo vs. Sukuna a movie, they got 2 seasons that are going to break. They're going to do crazy numbers in a movie. And a sequel manga in the works, too. It's not going to be long, but they have a sequel manga. I'm going to still count that. Even though it's not going to be terribly long. I think JJK still has a case. I think JJK probably has a stronger case than Demon Slayer. Probably. Especially if they get a really good game. I think JJK can probably reach the level Demon Slayer is right now. Or like touching like a DB and Naruto like stamp. Not over it though. I don't think they'll ever reach over just out of longevity. Like they have to be really long. That's what DB just got over them. Like DB has what, 12, 13 movies, DBZ movies, and they have like the 4 that came way after. And then they have 4 series, 2 back to back that are both what, DBZ's 200 episodes, 280, and then original Dragon Ball's 180. How much is that combined? Quick math. That's 340. No, 360 actually. Sorry, 360 episodes. 360 episodes combined. Not counting GT, which is another 64. Not counting DBS, which is another like what, 120. Like they have 500 episodes on their head. On their head. And even before DBS and that whole renaissance, they had 360 episodes plus the 64 plus 13 movies plus a game every year. You know what I'm saying? 460, my fault. Yeah, 460, not 360. It was 200. It's 460. You're right. Dude, like DB just had so much content. That's why I think DB is as popular as it is. Naruto also has that much content. So I think these two are like above Grail. One Piece should be at their level. I don't know what One Piece is doing. They don't push out game. I think games is a big thing. That's what I was talking about. I think it was last stream where I was telling y'all, bro. It's like I think the games are so massively underrated when it comes to pushing an anime and how popular it is. Dragon Ball survived off games for like 15 years until Super came back. No one wants to talk about that though. Dragon Ball was dead for like 15 years and it lived off just games. Like the games are so important, bro. Like Naruto is as popular as it is now. Cause I'm assuming people who don't even know Naruto play Storm. Like I have homeboys, I got cousins, I got all that don't even know Naruto. I say let's spark up Storm 4 right now. They will spark up Storm 4. We will run it for hours. Like, dude, I'm telling you, bro. Like, you can't discount the games, too. You cannot discount the games. And DB just had so much content. Like I just said, 460 episodes, 13 movies, and GT before we even get to, like, the Super and all the other stuff. They could have made game on game on game on game on game. Demon Slayer, I don't know. They have to punch out a game like every year. Like I'm talking like there's no handhelds anymore, but you can make like a small little Switch RPG of like the first half of the series. You can make like turn out different levels of fighting games, open world game. You gotta really turn them out. That's what really pushes the brand, I think, in my opinion. But y'all can let me know. I gotta make a whole video on that. Maybe that will be the short, bro. People really underestimate how strong anime games are when it comes to pushing out the niche. That'll probably be the next like little yap session. We yap for 20 minutes. That was not meant to be 20 minutes. That is my fault.